he's just so number 10 popped out, for sure. It was entertaining, but there's going to be mistakes. He and Tannehill kind of missed on a play. Those things are going to happen, but that's why it was so important to get him in here when they did, and now they have time to work through those things. So I feel really good about it. We'll talk more about that later in the show. Get Terry's thoughts on it, but overall, I think this is going to work, and I think the young guys are going to learn a thing or two from him, which is going to be really good. Other news in the Pulse, Aaron Rodgers saw this, and this won't be the first pay cut we talk about today, but Aaron Rodgers reworked his contract with the Jets. That he signed a reworked contract, which he voluntarily reduced his salary by about $35 million over the next 2 seasons. He had signed a 2-year, $75 million fully guaranteed contract with the Jets now. He was going to make close to $110 million. Here's Adam Schefter with more on Aaron Rodgers and the pay cut.
This is a $35 million voluntary pay cut that Aaron Rodgers has offered to the Jets. It's a sign that he plans to play there the next 2 years, and he's giving back money for this team to be able to go make moves, other moves to improve the roster, to try to help this team get back to and win a Super Bowl. Obviously, he gave up a lot of control here by giving the cap leverage back to the New York Jets, but he also has made a lot of money in his career, and he didn't really care. He cared about giving the Jets the flexibility that they needed to go out and improve their roster, taking a quarterback deal well below market value right now. And this deal really has been agreed to for weeks. They're still waiting for Aaron Rodgers to sign off on it. As of right now, he has still not signed the deal. He could sign it as early as tonight. That's certainly possible, but this deal is going to get done, and when it gets done, it's going to save the Jets $35 million against the cap over the next 2 seasons.
Adam Schefter, more on Aaron Rodgers. And, when I first saw this last night, and the fact that it was voluntary, that he did that, it showed me that he's committed to this. He wants to go to the Jets and win a Super Bowl and then ride off into the sunset. And so the fact that he's willing to take a pay cut like this to give them that flexibility, I mean, I'm going to be honest, that's not an Aaron Rodgers type move. But the fact that he did it, I think says something of how committed he is to the Jets and to seeing that thing through. So I found that to be interesting, that he was able to do that. Obviously, he still has to sign it, but, I think that could be interesting. The Jets are very, very intriguing. That whole division is intriguing because you got Buffalo, Miami, the Jets. Who knows what the Patriots are going to be? I mean, right now I'd have the Patriots finishing last in that division, but certainly going to be interesting for sure. U.S. women's national team in soccer, the Women's World Cup, tied 1-1, drew 1-1 with the Netherlands last night as they were looking for that win, but couldn't get it. But nonetheless, they'll take the draw. And here's more on why this was important to just come away with the draw.
So I think one thing that was made crystal clear tonight is just how important Rose Lavelle is. She was nursing an injury coming into this tournament. They've been really kind of trying to bring her along slowly. They didn't start her today, and I think they saw when she came on at the halftime break the impact that she made. Whatever her fitness levels is, you got to put her out there. She's got to be a starter, and she's got to be a playmaker for this team from midfield. And the other big question mark, Linda, is up top. Alex Morgan hasn't scored yet. Trinity Rodman hasn't scored yet. There's a lot of firepower on this American bench. And the manager, Vlatko Andonovski, only used 1 sub tonight. I know American fans out there want to see more subs come off that bench. And I think there's a lot of talent there that could, give a boost to this U.S. attack.
That was Sebastian Salazar, a soccer reporter for ESPN, as the women's national team with the 1-1 draw against the Netherlands yesterday. And then this news coming out that it looks like Shohei Ohtani watch is over. And I was really surprised by this. But now basically the Angels saying they're not going to make the trade for him, here's Aiden Gonzalez, MLB reporter for ESPN on more.
I think it was probably a combination of the team having won 6 of its last 7 games, still being in contention. I think it's also maybe not being very impressed by what they would have potentially gotten back for him. But I think ultimately it's the fact that they want to make the playoffs this year. They feel like Shohei Ohtani gives them the best chance to do it. And a lot of people believe that Artie Moreno wants to sign him as a free agent. The Angels would have no chance to sign Shohei Ohtani as a free agent if they were to trade him right now.
So the Angels are 4 games back of the wild card. So they are definitely in striking distance with the Red Sox. And the Red Sox got a couple wins over the Bravos. And then the Yankees. Yankees are 2.5 back. Red Sox are 1.5 back. So that I thought that was interesting. That they decided, and it's the right move. I mean, if you want to make the playoffs, it's the right move to keep your best player, and then see what happens in the offseason. Wouldn't it be crazy we go through all this and he ends up just re-signing with the Angels? I mean, I kind of feel like it's trending that way.
It kind of is.
But nonetheless, yeah. I mean, don't you kind of feel like that it could go that way?
Yeah, I think with Ohtani wanting to stay out, wanting to stay out west, I really don't see any other destination besides like San Francisco or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and I've said the Giants could be in play, especially in free agency, but who knows? But very, very interesting. Coming up next, we heard yesterday from Rand Carthon. Of course, he was on our show, but he spoke to the media before that. And also, we heard from Kevin Byard. So what changed with the situation with Kevin Byard? You'll hear from both of them. Coming up next, Chase McCabe Show live today here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
He knows the ins and outs of the Titans and isn't afraid to give his opinion.
Traylon Burks needs a massive offseason.
He's Jonathan Hutton of Outkick.
I don't see how they make a move without going to Ryan Tannehill.
Catch him every Monday at 10:30 on Chase McCabe and every Wednesday at noon on Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. Hutton is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
There's no hiding from Bluebell Monster Cookie Dough Ice Cream. Creamy vanilla ice cream, peanut butter monster cookie dough, brown sugar, candy-coated chocolate, and dark chocolate flavored chunks. A taste so good, you'll need a bigger bowl.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at your neighborhood Food Lion.
The Parker Store at 1909 Nolensville Road in Nashville is the Parker Factory Authorized Store for your Parker hydraulic, pneumatic, water, and chemical hose needs. They stock metric tubing and hose connections to 42 millimeters in size, and they'll fabricate while you wait up to 6,000 PSI hydraulic hoses in a 2-inch size. Call the Parker Store at 615-248-8245 for all the Parker requirements you have. The Parker Store, 1909 Nolensville Road.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can do it now in less than a week. Hey, Willie Donick here. That's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You can get $50,000, $100,000, even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. You don't even have to touch your primary mortgage. You can keep that 3% rate intact. Get just the money you need and pay off all those credit cards or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Parman Energy is your one-stop petroleum solution across all of Tennessee, offering turnkey petroleum solutions for professionals in major industries, serving trucking fleets, construction companies, industrial plants, and more. Whether a large corporation or owner-operator, Parman Energy has your diesel fuel, lubricant, DEF, and equipment needs. No matter how you're getting there, start with Parman. Visit ParmanEnergy.com for more info. Your Tennessee petroleum solution providing totally outrageous customer service.
I Am a Difference Maker is helping families with overwhelming financial crises, ranging from medical bills, drug and alcohol addiction, sexual abuse, natural disasters, suicide prevention, and much more. They're a small grassroots 501c3 created to help people in times of need before life becomes unbearable. I Am a Difference Maker believes that through working together, we can connect with each other and strengthen the community through the love that is shared. 100% of donations go to families in need. Find out more at IamADifferenceMaker.today.
Every day we are live and local. You need to give Ryan Tannehill a 2-year extension.
There haven't been too many coaching changes for the Predators.
And your source for Nashville sports.
I think that's what the Titans need.
Players who can score.
We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. The Suit is in the building.
3-hour lunch, 3-hour lunch, 3-hour lunch.
3 hours. Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Were you presented with an ultimatum from the team that if you weren't able to get your contract reworked, that you wouldn't be here and there would be consequences for that?
You know, it never really got to that point. You know, like I said, I don't really want to speak on the entire process of how everything worked. But, I mean, like I said earlier, man, just happy to be back, happy to be able to, you know, obviously help the team. But at the same time, you know, for me, it's all about a great opportunity. I have a great opportunity in front of me to be able to go out here and be the best player I can be possibly and just help this team. And like you said, whatever going forward can happen, you know, at the end of the day. But we're just trying to make the best out of the situation and go out here and win ball game.
That was Kevin Byard yesterday on whether or not he was given an ultimatum on the whole pay cut situation. It's an interesting situation, that is for sure. Back here, Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. 615-737-1025 is our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Do you believe both sides, or do you believe there was an ultimatum given to Kevin Byard and basically hey, we need you to do this because these are the things that we're doing. We're trying to bring in DeAndre Hopkins, or we might have to go in a different direction. I'm curious of what you think. Because I don't know if it was do this or else, but I kind of have a feeling that there was, you know, especially when he says he doesn't want to go into all the details on the process, that there was a discussion of like, hey, man, listen, if, you know, we're going to bring in DeAndre, like if you don't do this, you know, we might have to make some difficult decisions or do some other things, and it's not necessarily directed towards Kevin. That could have been somebody else. But, you know, even though the cap can be manipulated, and this is a perfect example of it, and moving things around, like you still have to fit under this number. And so that's what I think this conversation was with Kevin Byard. Rand Carthon, in his media availability yesterday, was also asked about what changed with the KB situation.
What changed in terms of going back to Kevin Byard and getting him to rework his deal in order to help bring DeAndre Hopkins on board?
I think KB is the consummate pro. You guys know KB, you know, better than I have because you've been around him a lot longer. When I think of KB, I think of, you know, just professionalism, a guy who puts his team first. A guy that's all about his team, and we're very appreciative of his willingness to work with us, you know, to restructure his deal that gave us the space and room to sign Hop.
So that was Rand Carthon's answer on it, and so I mean, look, we're going to move on from this. It's, you know, the fact that both of them. It was the opportunity to ask both of them about it. Tannehill was even asked about it yesterday and you know, what that means. And, you know, Carthon said the right things because it's true. Kevin Byard is the ultimate pro. Like, if you look up professional, you know, how to be a pro in the dictionary, Kevin Byard's picture is there. I don't think anybody would dispute that. That guy, even yesterday, being asked the uncomfortable questions of, were you given an ultimatum? He answered it like a pro. So that really shouldn't surprise anyone that that's the route he took. But to me, it's one of those things that I hope it's done. There's no ill will. It doesn't feel like there is on his end. But I mean, is there that thought in his head of, this is probably my last year here, so I want to make it count? Which there are a lot of guys. I said to Derek yesterday, we were standing there watching practice. Like, I'm watching Derrick Henry. Like, there's a chip on his shoulder. And he always kind of plays that way, but there's going to be more of a chip on his shoulder this year. Last year, the contract, all this stuff with running backs and their contracts out there, I think he's going to be even more determined. DeAndre Hopkins, chip on his shoulder. Wasn't a huge market for him. About to be like, hey, NFL, hold my beer. Watch this. Ryan Tannehill, chip on his shoulder. Has 2 young kids looking over his shoulder. All that coming together with that kind of determination can make a team dangerous. I don't know how good this team is going to be. I don't. And I don't think anybody really does. But I think I'm more excited about Titans football going into this season than I have been in a long time. Like, there's just this anticipation of I have no idea what's going to happen, and that excites me. Like, I have no idea how Tannehill and D-Hop, how quickly they're going to get on the same page. I think that's going to be really good. But, we still don't know yet. I have no idea if Derrick Henry can continue to be Derrick Henry. I have no idea what, Harold Landry's going to be. By the way, Harold Landry was on the practice field yesterday. That was really good. But, is he going to be Harold Landry of 2 years ago and get double-digit sacks? Or is he going to show signs of, like we saw with Bud Dupree and Taylor Lewan, that, yeah, he tore his ACL and it's not quite the same yet? We don't know. There's a lot of anticipation with this team, and that just has me really excited. Like, I haven't been this excited for a preseason game in years, but I'm excited for the first preseason game because I want to see Malik Willis in a game. I want to see Will Levis in a game. I want to see some of these young guys like Colton Dowell. Like, I don't think he's going to make the team. I think he's going to be on the practice squad, but I'm excited to see him. Is this the year Racey McMath does something? He's got like 4 catches in his career. Is he going to do something? There's just all this anticipation, Nick, with the Titans, and it's kind of got me pumped.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. You spoke on Tannehill and D-Hop possibly. There might be a little bit of a chemistry disconnect. When D-Hop had his presser the other day and spoke on Ryan meeting him, I believe he said at the airport or somewhere, him and his wife met D-Hop. I just thought that shows that he wants this to really work out. He really wants this chemistry to build, and it just speaks volumes. It speaks volumes on many levels, and also to the point of Kevin Byard on possibly taking some sort of, I don't know, ultimatum possibly. I want to know what it would be like between KB and D-Hop. Like, I know it's being professional in the grand scheme of the NFL, but at the same time, there's got to be some sort of bitter, I don't know, thought process in the back of KB, right?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure there is. I mean, I would think there would have to be. But, I think we'll see how this affects him when they get into the games. I mean, he's always played at a different level. But is there yet another level, even later in his career? Unnamed texter says Kevin Byard should have restructured for a Bobby Bonilla style deal, get paid until he's 60. I don't think it quite works that way in the NFL, but I like that. That's interesting. Just reading through a few texts from earlier today. So Josh from Kentucky texted in, they're called soccer matches, not soccer games. Just an FYI, next time you guys talk about soccer in your sports news updates or whatever, some diehard soccer fans actually get mad about that. Did I say game? or is it in the update?
I don't know. I didn't hear it in the update. I probably selective hearing on my part, but I'll listen to it next time.
So I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't know if I think I care. Like, I want to get, I try, like, if somebody's like, Nashville SC won, 1-0 or 1-0, I know it's 1-0. Like, I try to, get the lingo right because, and here's why, with racing and, being a NASCAR fan, like, I want people to get the lingo right in that sport. And so I try and show that respect the other way. But it's true. Like, Josh is right. Like, diehard soccer fans or football fans, they get pissed if you don't say things right. So I laughed at that. But yes, soccer match, the pitch, we're learning here.
It's all growing pains, Chase. All growing pains.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's okay. Coming up next, again, Terry McCormick going to join us at the end of the hour, 9:45. We'll kind of get his thoughts on a lot of the things that we're talking about. Trey Wingo at 10:30. But another thing that I'm excited about, the quarterback room. Do the Titans have a solid quarterback room now? We'll talk about that next. You can weigh in on anything, 615-737-1025. Chase McCabe Show. And again, our training camp coverage is presented by the Simmons Bank Open, Parman Energy, and Cottle Vet Clinic. We'll be back out there tomorrow, as will Caroline, Willie, and D. Mace here on 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
They're homegrown in Nashville, discussing the biggest topics in the SEC.
The fans are going to want the rivalries to stick around. They've lost to Alabama every year.
The NFL.
What if all the top 3 quarterbacks went 1, 2, 3? You've got to draft your guy at 2.
And anything in between.
From thinking we know everything to then forgetting about everything we thought we knew the day before.
They're Jonathan Hutton and Chad Withrow on Outkick's Hot Mic.
Out of the gates, ready to go.
Weekdays from 2 to 5 on 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
All right, boys and girls, we are changing the game. Superbook Sports, I love them, my official sports book. Been telling you about them for a long time, and I use it all the time. The app is easy to use. You can help your bets stay hot this summer at Superbook Sports because they are the most trusted name in sports betting with a direct line to Las Vegas. The Superbook is right there at the Westgate in Vegas. I've been to it. It's fantastic. When you sign up, and you use the promo code CHASE, that's my name, you score up to $250 with their first bet bonus, win or lose. Superbook will match your first bet up to $250 with the promo code CHASE. It is that simple. Just put my name in the promo code place when you sign up, and you'll get that $250. Again, the promo code CHASE. You can bet on college football, pro football. They got some futures up, looking at the divisions. It's all there. Just download the Superbook Sports app today. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
It's Family Leisure's huge summer clearance sale.
So what does that mean?
All our summer items have to go. Everything in stock is on sale at Family Leisure. Pools, spas, and outdoor furniture are all on sale.
Give me an example.
A $2,900 pool is now only $19.99 installed. Or a huge 24-foot by 52-inch pool is only $29.99 installed with an upgraded filter package.
Oh, wow, that's great. What about the spas?
Right now, take $1,000 off a $4,000 spa at $29.99 at Family Leisure. Save even more on scratch and dents and floor models.
So the patio furniture's on sale too?
All the Family Leisure summer furniture must go. 50% off or more with even bigger discounts on display models and discontinued items.
I'm guessing the grills and grill islands are also on sale.
All of the summer inventory is on sale. Even the Diamond Point Play Gym is down to $19.99.
Family Leisure's summer clearance sale. Both huge locations, Franklin and Antioch.
Family and fun come together.
The team at Mercedes-Benz of Music City have done it again. Here's Edwin Vickery to explain.
4-time recipient of Best of the Best. Less than 10% of the dealers in the country receive this award. How did you do it? We say culture, eat strategy for lunch, because we can strategize all we want. But unless you have the right culture and chemistry in the dealership, it will not work.
Live the dream at Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
For more than 100 years, Lincoln Tech's NADC in Nashville has helped people transform their lives by learning the skills they need to build a brighter future. While the skills, tools, and jobs have changed, one thing hasn't: Lincoln's ability to adapt their auto, diesel, and heavy equipment maintenance programs to meet the hiring needs of America's employers. Put your potential to work and enroll now for July classes at Lincoln Tech's NADC. Visit lincolntech.edu for info and to schedule a campus tour.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is everything.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hey, do you need to listen on the go? Download the Game Nashville app from your app store today, and you can listen to us anywhere in the world. It's that simple. What an age we live in.
Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Final year of his deal, his veteran experience and focus. Do you like the way that he can lead this offense in this year with all the pieces and all the changes that have been made around him?
Sure. I mean, that's the quarterback's job is to be an extension of the coaching staff and to carry that message and the details and make sure that everybody's lined up. And the operation, it starts with the quarterback and their command. And that's nothing new for Ryan. So we just have to make sure that he's doing that and that Malik and Will are doing that. And saw instances of that where maybe guys had to go in there and play a different position, and he lined them up, moved them in. Whether I don't know, maybe that was Malik or whoever it was did that. So those are the things that we need.
That was Mike Vrabel yesterday talking about Tannehill and liking the way that he can lead that offense. It is a contract year for Ryan Tannehill. I mean, what does that mean moving forward? Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. You heard me say it, I think it was the other day. I feel like the quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans in 2024 is going to be Ryan Tannehill. I have this feeling that, they're going to get close, whether it's just winning the division or making the playoffs as a wild card or whatever, and they're going to figure out how to run some of this back, including him. And, give Levis or Willis, whoever, likely Levis, another year to develop. I'm just not ready to sign up for this narrative that it's going to be Will Levis and Malik Willis next year. I'm not there yet. But go ahead, Nick.
You're good. No. You can go ahead and finish.
I was just going to say I like this quarterback room now. I mean, I watching Malik Willis through OTAs, watching him yesterday. It's one day, but I can tell a difference. I mean, he just seems confident now. Like, he seems more sure of himself. He looks good. He's making some throws that, last year he'd be way off. Now he's a lot closer. You can tell he's worked on his accuracy and really just been studying. And, you want to see a guy take a big step between year one and year two, and I think he's doing that. Levis looked good too. The thing is, Levis, I think the hope is Levis is further along and that he wins the backup job and he is the heir apparent. But I think if Willis makes this a true competition for the backup spot, that's only going to mean a good thing for both of those guys moving forward. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think it's going to come down to, at the end of the season, if Will Levis does make enough progression in solidifying that second spot. And at the end of the year, I wouldn't put all my chips on this, but I believe Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel will probably bring D-Hop into the meeting room and be like, hey, man, so can you tell us, was Will Levis, do you think you trust him enough to be your quarterback next season? Because, for instance, if Tannehill has a little bit of a slump, probably around the middle of the season, I wouldn't be surprised if Carthon and Vrabel call D-Hop into the end of the season and be like, hey, do you trust Levis to be your number one guy next year? I would not be surprised if that conversation happens.
I don't know. That's interesting that you say that. Like, I know that, there's obviously some players that are going to have, the coach's ear more than others. Byard's one of them. Derrick Henry's one of them. I would say Tannehill's one of them. I don't know if Vrabel would basically leave it up to D-Hop. Maybe you're right that he asked his opinion of like, hey, what do you think? How's it going with Ryan? And things are a little off, but ultimately it's going to be Vrabel making the call. And we've talked about that. Like if they're at a certain point when they get to London, and then they have the off week. If this is a sub 500 team, that's when you're going to hear the chatter of put 8 in, put Levis in. Now, if they're, leading the division and above 500, none of that's going to happen. They're going to see this through. I think you see it through no matter what. Like, personally, if they're, how many games? Is it like 7 games? If they're like 0-7 or whatever, I'd still write it out with Tannehill and just suck and then improve your team, for next year with a high draft pick. I mean, yeah. I wouldn't rush the process if it's me.
Yeah, that's valid. I mean, looking at I don't want to look too far into the future, but I mean, I'm trying to stick to my guns here. The comment I made on kind of departing with Tannehill after season 1 with D-Hop and just moving on to Levis. Like, if Tannehill gets the Titans to the playoffs and gets them a one and done, goes to the first round and gets out afterwards, I believe that's kind of where you got to draw the line. Like, I'm going to stand firm on that. If Tannehill gets us to the first round, gets the Titans to the first round, I'm just going to have to just stand my ground and be like, hey, man, appreciate all you done for the franchise, but we're going to have to let you go.
Chip from Mount Juliet says, no way you can feel comfortable with a quarterback after Tannehill room after a few practices. No, I'm just basing it on not a few practices. I'm basing it on what I've seen through OTAs, and I know Levis struggled a little bit, but and maybe it is a little bit of a too early reaction, but I like it. I think they have something to work with. I think they can make some progress with this. Jeff says, OMG, Tannehill in 2024. Y'all are never going to learn. He's done. Time to move on. Okay. You know that, Jeff? You know that for a fact?
Listen,
we've been sucking with Tannehill for years. I wouldn't go that far. I mean, last year was the first year you didn't make the playoffs, and he got hurt. Like, how is that his fault?
Exactly.
I mean, he got hurt.
I'm willing to give Tannehill the benefit of the doubt. I mean, if he gives out a good season this year, easily, like we've been talking all week, last week, 10 wins. I mean, Jared's saying 12 wins, but if they get to 12, I mean, yeah, you got to easily have to re-up him for one more year, right?
If they get to 12 wins and they win the division, even if they do get knocked out first round, I still think there's a chance he's back.
Oh, 100%. I think easily over 85% he's back.
Yeah. Speaking of Malik Willis, Mike Vrabel did get, and it was Jared that asked the question, did ask about Malik's progress yesterday. Here was Mike Vrabel on how his young quarterback has progressed.
How proud are you of Malik, of the progress that he's made?
Well, I think when you coach players and they ask for feedback, and again, I really, you can learn a lot from great coaches, and for me to not think that Nick Saban is one of the best coaches that ever wore a whistle is ridiculous. And so he says something all the time that really average players want to be left alone, and good players want to be coached, and great players want to be told the truth. And I think it's like man, if we can just live in that world where everybody just, hey, what was this? What is this? What else do I need? What do I need to do to improve? Where do I stand? And they can seek the truth. They can handle the truth. And then, we always want to tell the truth. And so that's what we did the entire offseason. We'll continue to do that. And Malik took those things and just his appearance, his attitude, smiling, and just playing football. So, and again, playing quarterback in this league as a young player is something very different. And so I think that experience at offseason has helped him, and then we'll continue to work with him and improve.
That was Mike Vrabel yesterday on Malik Willis. And I like what he said about players wanting to be coached, because I know, and I forgot where this was, I saw this, but DeAndre Hopkins, said like he wants to be coached. Like if there's a mistake, he wants somebody to get after him. And, I think that when I hear a player that is a high caliber elite player, that it's like you watch them play, and like LeBron James, for instance, and they don't need coaching. But if they say like, no, I want a coach to get in my ass, like I get after me, like you got to coach me. That's the kind of player that I want, and I want to see. You want to surround young players around that guy that is going to live by example, and just because they're the best or what have you, like Derrick Henry, he likes being coached, like he likes being worked, and doing the work. So I think that Willis has seen that as an example, and he's taken the coaching and he's listened to the coaching, and they talked about that last year, even in the preseason, that you could see him improve on some things because he listened to the coaching, from game 1 to game 2 to game 3. So that is something to watch that I think is good. Andrew says, what clowns? I'll take Tannehill all day if we have an O-line. Gotta make sure that he stays upright. Garrison says all fans want Mahomes level performance, otherwise it's sucking. The problem is there seems to be some truth to that. Can you really win with anything less? I mean, these days it does feel like you have to have that elite of the elite, even though Matt Stafford was not elite a few years ago. When they just had a really, really good team around him. Coming up next, Terry McCormick, TitanInsider.com, going to join the show. He was at practice yesterday, kind of get his thoughts on some of the things we've been talking about. That is all next here on Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Ryan Tannehill.
To the end zone, touchdown.
Derrick Henry.
76-yard touchdown.
Kevin Byard.
And as he throws, and it's intercepted.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, wow, what a catch.
The Titans are ready for another season as training camp is underway.
Go to your position. Let's go.
Who will win the camp battles? How are the new additions fitting in? Keep it locked to Nashville's best Titans talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
My student organization was suspended from campus for criticizing the Chinese government. We knew our free speech rights were being violated. That's why we teamed up with the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression. FIRE launched a full-scale campaign. They talked to the media, sent letters to the school's president, and put billboards up around campus telling our story. That's what FIRE does. They defend everyone's right to free speech. Defend free speech at thefire.org.
Paid for by thefire.org.
What's up? It's Chase McCabe, and I have been telling you about PhD Weight Loss for several weeks now, the program created by Dr. Ashley Lucas, the best-selling author. Listen, overall, I'm down about 25 pounds, and this is a great program because losing weight is not easy. That's why you have one-on-one coaching sessions. I talk to Rachel each week. She's great. She works me through my program, gives me what I need. We adjust my diet as we go. And that is how I'm getting the results, and you can too. With that weekly one-on-one coaching, you get the customized meal plans. And here's the cool part about this. If you choose to use their food, 85% of the food is provided for you at no extra charge. And the food is great. I love the cereals, the protein bars, the shakes, but they can also teach you how to use your own food as well. And remember, their new offer guarantee, if you don't get within 5 pounds of your target weight, by the time your program is over, PhD will continue to coach you until you do. That is their offer guarantee. MyPhDWeightLoss.com is the website. Check it out, myPhDWeightLoss.com.
This is Evan Bass for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. For most of us, sex is a big part of our relationship. So when something like erectile dysfunction starts affecting intimacy, it can be a real problem. But what you may not know is that ED doesn't just affect you, it can be tough on your partner as well. Plus, if you have ED, you know how it can make you feel. The truth is, we see a lot of guys who have depression, frustration, and even relationship issues because of ED. But we don't want ED to impact you or the one you love anymore. The Tennessee Men's Clinic tackles ED. Our urologists and medical providers take a comprehensive approach and have treated thousands of men with treatments that are successful in nearly 90% of cases. Even if your hormones are off, or if pills, wave therapy, or other treatments have left you hanging, the Tennessee Men's Clinic will work hard to help you get your sex life back, perhaps performing like you haven't in a long time. So call us. Your first appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. We have 2 offices in Midtown and Franklin.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra, results vary.
Nashville's Best Deals is a great place to save cash fast. Get up to half off or more on dining and entertainment at thegamenashville.com/deals. Check back often for new featured deals and save money now at thegamenashville.com/deals.
The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix is back in Nashville August 4th through 6th and is a must-see experience that has something for everyone to enjoy. 102.5 The Game and 94.9 The Fan has all your coverage leading to the race, including driver interviews with Chase McCabe, ticket giveaways, and much more.
94.9 The Fan is your home for Hit City.
Tonight, your Nashville Sounds continue their 6-game series at Norfolk.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sounds win.
Pre-game at 5:20.
On your home of Nashville Sounds baseball, 94.9 The Fan and the Fan app.
Bring it on, Chop. Let's go.
You're listening to Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Your teammates maybe as you kick off training camp, and what's important to remember as you go through this 6-week build-up before the season starts?
Yeah, take advantage of every opportunity we get. Take advantage every day. It's a grind. There's highs, there's lows during training camp. We got to stay the course. Stay the course. Come out with a focus each and every day. Have something to focus on. Get better each and every day. Whether it's timing on a 3-step footwork, or for a receiver, being able to plan off the inside foot on an outbreak, or whatever the case may be, just having something. You can't focus on everything every single day, right? But being able to focus on something every single day, you start stacking those things together. You're growing as a person, you're growing as a player, and then you start building the team, right? We start all doing that together. We're pushing each other. We're going through a tough thing together, battling through the highs, battling through the lows, and just starting to gel as a team. Those are some things you want to accomplish during this time.
Ryan Tannehill yesterday after practice. Chase McCabe Show, 102.5, 106.3, The Game, broadcasting live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. Terry McCormick will join us in just a few minutes. A lot of you texting in on this. Tannehill's a hot topic, a polarizing topic. Wes in Clarksville says, crazy everyone keeps wanting to have a quarterback like Mahomes, but for the most part, the Titans have Mahomes' number every time we play them, unless they got Malik playing and he almost beat them. I will say this, and I heard Jared say the same thing yesterday, and I agree with him 100%. And I know it's one practice, it's one day, but it's also one game. If Malik Willis could have made the throws that he was making yesterday and showing that he's improved in that department and improved in accuracy, if he would have done that and made a couple of those throws, they would have beaten Kansas City. Because they almost did with him at quarterback, barely throwing the football. I mean, just put that in perspective. But again, Josh from Dixon, I don't understand all the Tannehill hate. He's the best quarterback we've had besides McNair. I want you to think about that for a second, because if you're looking at strictly the Titans quarterbacks all time and how you would rank them, Tannehill's 2. Tannehill is behind McNair. Like, let that sit for a second. I mean, some of you might make an argument for the 1 year, of VY, but I'm not putting him 2. I'm putting Tannehill behind McNair. But, I mean, that just shows you the struggle that they've had to find the next quarterback, the franchise guy. They don't grow on trees. It's difficult. Ben, on my comment on Matt Stafford, I agree with the premise, but Stafford is way better than Tannehill. We've seen that Ryan's ceiling is too low, and the Rams were the exception, not the rule. We shouldn't be trying to do it that way, and it's less likely to succeed. I get that, but I mean, and maybe we've seen, maybe Tannehill's ceiling is too low, but I think with the right offensive line, that if you give him time, and now you've added DeAndre Hopkins, you're going to have Treylon Burks in year 2, plus the run game with Derrick Henry. It's not out of the I've always said he can win for you if you put the right pieces around him. And the offensive line is the biggest piece. You got to give him time to stand upright. I mean, it's pretty simple in my mind. Ron says if Tannehill is not here next year and Levis and Willis are not ready to lead, do the Titans go after Trey Lance? Just curious. No. I mean, they'll ride with Levis. Took him in the second round, moved up to get him. I think they go Levis. Yeah, I think so.
There's no way they don't. They have to, right? There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, I think they certainly would. Wes in Clarksville, if Tannehill takes us to the Super Bowl this year, I'd almost call him number 1 over McNair. Yeah, he's got to win. He's got to win. And then, I mean, that's an interesting discussion. I mean, how much does the defense factor in? There's a lot of different things there. Like, if that were to happen, let's just say the Titans win the Super Bowl this year with Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. I mean, is he in the MVP discussion? Is he, like, I'm asking these questions, to Wes's point. But that's a fantastic discussion. If it got to that point, where would you put him? I think there's an argument, but we've got a long way to go.
Is there a 1A and a 1B, Chase?
Probably. I mean,
there's no way you put him over to McNair.
It'd be really hard for me to put somebody over McNair. Yeah, I mean, it'd be really hard for me to put somebody over McNair. Just based on what I saw from him, like living those days. I mean, you probably remember. I mean, he was just hurt all the time and still played at a high level. I mean, Derek and I were talking about the Giants game yesterday where he came in and won it for him with a bruised or broken sternum, whatever it was. That he was on the questionable list every week and didn't practice and then played the games. I mean, that's built different. It's built different.
It really is. And you don't come around those type of quarterbacks in this day and age, honestly. Back in the day, in the early 2000s, you'd have quarterbacks that would get knocked down, beaten down week in and week out. And, I mean, McNair was a prime example of it. Like, he would come in 1 week and not practice and then come out for the game and, I mean, then show out. Like, throw 2-3 touchdowns.
Sure.
Like, it's incredible. You don't get that nowadays.
Ben says they already made this bed, so they have to lay in it and do their best, obviously, but it can't be swept under the rug that we should have made the bed in a different way, and a lot of fans are just ready for them to remake the bed. And they are. Like, it's funny because that's how fans work. A few years ago, it's like, okay, Mariota, he's not the guy. Tannehill takes over, leads them to the AFC Championship game. But then the narrative started of the next year, like you look at that game against Baltimore, Tannehill didn't play well. It's like, okay, well, can he win the big one? Can he win when it really counts? Then he throws 3 interceptions against Cincinnati, and they lose as the number 1 seed. That's when people checked out on him. And he's never going to get people back unless he just wins a Super Bowl. I mean, that's just how some people make up their mind. Joey and Gallatin, imagine McNair behind a great O-line in today's NFL. McNair in today's NFL would be something.
Easily 2-3 Super Bowls.
Yeah, I mean, the right offense, I mean, because just the way he played. I mean, it would be very interesting. And Ben says, and Tannehill is number 2 Titan quarterback all time is honestly not a good thing. Low bar. Okay, now for that, I get it, because you look at the results. There are no championships. So that, I get that 100%. Terry McCormick, TitanInsider.com, is going to join us coming up next. We'll step away for a second and then get his thoughts on everything from yesterday at practice. Good discussion on Ryan Tannehill. That's all next. 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
The ultimate family-friendly concert experience is back and all new for 2023. The Kids Bop Never Stop live tour is coming your way, so get ready to sing and dance. Friday, July 28th, First Bank Amphitheater. On sale now at livenation.com. So come have the best time ever at the Kids Bop Never Stop live tour. See you there. Part of the Farm Bureau Insurance Concert Series presented by Live Nation.
Baseball fans, your home for the best baseball action is 102.5 The Game and 94.9 The Fan with the ESPN Game of the Week and the Nashville Sounds. It's all brought to you by Superbook Sports, the #1 sports book in Vegas. Download the Superbook app today.
Nashville is growing, but we remember our roots here.
The fairgrounds, my family and I have so many memories there. It is full of history, it is full of culture, and it is full of Nashville.
There are some folks who want to tear down our historic fairground speedway.
When you do that, you lose part of your story.
Don't tear it down, make it better.
I'm not necessarily a racing fan, but it's a part of the fabric of the neighborhood.
When you lose something, guess what? It doesn't come back.
Don't take away my history.
Let's make sure we don't lose another piece of what makes our city so special.
For more than a century, AM radio has evolved to meet the needs of our community. In their car, at home, or on the job, more than 80 million listeners depend on AM radio each month. AM radio is also the backbone of the emergency alert system, which keeps us safe in dangerous times. It's reliable, free, and public safety depends on it. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
I Am a Difference Maker is helping families with overwhelming financial crises, ranging from medical bills, drug and alcohol addiction, sexual abuse, natural disasters, suicide prevention, and much more. They're a small grassroots 501c3 created to help people in times of need before life becomes unbearable. I Am a Difference Maker believes that through working together, we can connect with each other and strengthen the community through the love that is shared. 100% of donations go to families in need. Find out more at IamADifferenceMaker.today.
All of us at 102.5 and 106.3 The Game want to recognize our active military, veterans, first responders, and educators with the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, see, and you see by the dawn's early light was so proud. At the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular amongst birds singing came through the night that I flag
1025 and 1063 The Game. Now, your Game Center update.
This is Nick Keyser. The Tennessee Titans have day one of training camp in the books. After practice, Mike Vrabel addressed the importance of making the time together count as the pace will continue to ramp up.
I've said this ad nauseum, that great teams know how to practice. They can practice with speed, without pads on. You put pads on, guys are still staying up, guys aren't flopping around. So we got off to a good start. We'll just have to keep stringing days together.
And the United States women's soccer team tied with the Netherlands 1-1 last night. They trailed for the first time in a match since 2011 as their 13-game win streak came to a close in the Women's World Cup. And the Nashville Sounds took down the Norfolk Tides 5-3 last night. They'll be back in action this afternoon at 10:50 on 94.9 The Fan for a matinee start. You're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Bobby and Rex Road.
Chase McCabe.
Caroline, Willie, D-Mays.
Stone Company.
Nashville's best sports talk.
Crank it up.
1025 and 1063.
Rebound on the score.
Make every play perfect.
Touchdown, Middle Tennessee.
We're going to win the game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Nashville.
The suit is in the building.
Acknowledge me.
Are you ready? Ready? This is Chase McCabe on Nashville's best sports talk. 1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hour number 2, Chase McCabe, 1025, 1063 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. Hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. Let's head back to the phones. Say hello to Terry McCormick. TitanInsider.com has covered the team since day one. Terry, we're finally back. Football season is here. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Yesterday was the start of it, as you mentioned, and this is season 27 for me covering the Titans.
Well, and going into season 27, I think there are a lot of questions. There's a lot of intrigue. I use the word excitement just because of the unknown with everything going on with the Titans. But I want to start with Ryan Tannehill. As he goes into the final year of his contract, I have this feeling that it's not a foregone conclusion that he's not going to be here next year, that he could definitely be back. What percentage would you put on Ryan Tannehill being back as the Titans starting quarterback next season, and what needs to happen this year with them for that to come to fruition?
Well, I don't know about a percentage. I mean, I'd say probably 50-50 at best, because each of the last 2 years they've tried to draft his replacement. But I'll say this, in plain language, I think in doing that and in not giving him a contract extension right now, it may have pissed him off and may bring out the best in him. You know what I'm saying?
Because, yeah, 100%. I mean, I think there's a ton of guys with that chip on, pissed off for greatness chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, I think Derrick Henry's probably in that camp too. And I think if Ryan Tannehill leads this team to an AFC South title and they win a playoff game, if he has a good year, I mean, what do you do with him if he throws for 3,500 yards and 27 touchdowns? If he plays like he did in 2020 or 2021, what do you do with him? I mean,
right, and that hard. I don't think they know that answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to hand it over to Will Levis or even Malik Willis, because we don't know what Will Levis is yet, and what we saw of Malik Willis last year was not very impressive. So, they're in a situation right now where Ryan Tannehill is their best option, and if he has a good year, if he shows he's still got a lot of football left in him, then they may have to do something like apply the franchise tag to him and say, let's go one more year.
Terry McCormick is with us. DeAndre Hopkins, we saw him yesterday on the practice field. Now, he'll miss a couple days for something that he already had in place before he signed with the team. But he looked like a guy that was just, I mean, there's a reason he's one of the best receivers in the league, and there's a reason that the Titans wanted to bring him into their receiver room. How quickly do you think that he and Tannehill can get on the same page, and could we see a connection similar to what Tannehill had with A.J. Brown a few years ago?
Yeah, I think that's possible. I mean, obviously, if they had had time during OTAs and things like that, it would have been easier. But they're both veteran guys, and they're both guys who, know how the thing works. Hopkins has been in a version of this offense under Tim Kelly before, so it's not like he's having to learn a whole lot of new terminology and things of that nature. It's just a matter of getting down the nuances of what Ryan Tannehill wants and Ryan Tannehill learning, how he does things. And that's what training camp is going to be for, and that's what those joint practices are going to be for. I honestly don't think you're going to see either one of those guys on the field much for preseason games, but those joint practices with the Vikings and the Patriots are going to be very valuable to get those two on the same page and get that rapport going.
When you look at the wide receiver room as a whole, I think we all expect Treylon Burks to take a big jump from year one to year two. He's looked good in OTAs and, obviously one day of training camp. But I'm curious of the guys behind him. Can Kyle Phillips be the three and be a productive wide receiver? What are they going to get out of Chris Moore, who they brought in? Is there more to Nick Westbrook-Akine? This whole receiver battle, and now with D-Hop signing, it's put guys in their correct positions. I'm very intrigued to see, Terry, just the battles with position, wide receiver 3 on as they go through training camp.
Yeah, that is going to be interesting because I think we all can agree that in some order, Hopkins and Burks are 1 and 2. So 3 through 6 is going to be the pecking order, and you've got several guys that are contenders for that. You mentioned Kyle Phillips. Nick Westbrook-Akine has been around. He can now go back to being a 4th receiver and being a special teams mainstay, which was what he thrived at a couple of years ago. The wild card in this, to me, are Phillips and Racey McMath, because Racey McMath has all the physical skills you could ever want, but it has yet to translate very much on the field because, A, he's been hurt, and B, he's not been a very polished receiver. So I think Racey McMath has to show them that he can contribute something more than special teams in order to lock down a roster spot. But I am interested in Phillips as well to see, because he was on a good path after the first week or two of the season. Then he got hurt and it just kind of halted everything. So I'm interested to see if he can pick up where he left off and if he can be a little bit more durable. He's put on about 15 pounds, but he's still not very big in terms of the types of receivers that they usually have with the Titans.
Terry McCormick, TitanInsider.com, is with us. What did you make of Kevin Byard's comments and Rand Carthon's comments yesterday about the whole restructuring of the contract, basically taking a pay cut, and how they got to that point?
Yeah, I think they kind of buried the hatchet, it sounds like. I think when you talk about Byard, I mean, you're talking about a guy that is a consummate pro. You're talking about a guy that, has put his heart and soul into this organization, and he'll have a chance to make the money back if he's on the roster next year, and I fully expect him to be on the roster. And I think that now he and Rand Carthon can move forward, because I think before, when they wanted him to do it, and I'm not trying to speak for Kevin Byard here, but I think before, when they kind of just came out of the blue and said, hey, will you take a pay cut? He's like, why should I? I'm playing great. Well, it's different when you're saying, hey, take a pay cut. It's like, tell me what you're going to do with it. Well, now they're saying, well, we're going to go sign DeAndre Hopkins with this money. He's much more open to things, I believe, when he sees what the end result can be of moving this money and taking less so that they can bring in another quality player. Before, it was just like, okay, what are we going to do with it? Are we going to go, are you getting this guy? Are you getting that guy? What are you doing? There was really nothing on the horizon at that point.
Yeah, 100%. We saw Harold Landry on the field yesterday, which I kind of put as a little bit of a surprise. I wasn't really expecting that. But he was out there and continues to rehab from the knee. How much production are you expecting out of Landry? Do you think we're going to see the double-digit sack guy that we saw 2 years ago, or is this still going to be a process with the knee?
Well, I think it's going to be a process. I mean, anytime a guy comes off an ACL, and a lot of times it depends on what position he plays. You know, it affects a pass rusher differently than it affects a wide receiver or a running back or something like that, or an offensive lineman. But I think anytime that a guy's coming off a knee injury, it takes him just a little bit of time to kind of get used to it and trust it again. I think that's the biggest deal. I think you'll see Harold Landry's productivity probably get better as the season goes along once he gets a little bit more comfortable on that knee and able to do more things.
Our midday show had a chance to talk to Arden Key yesterday, and I got to tell you, I love his energy that he's going to bring to this team. Could that go down as one of the sneakiest, maybe best signings by a team in the free agency period this year?
I think it has that potential. I think I heard somebody bring it up yesterday. You know, Arden Key has a chance to be the player that they had hoped Bud Dupree would be, and certainly at a lot less money, because you need somebody on both sides. You can't just have one guy be the guy who is, you know, your primary pass rusher. You need two, preferably three or four. They've got Simmons and they got Autry, who can play down low and do those sorts of things, and Autry can slide outside. But then you've also you need a couple of edge guys, and I think Arden Key is a guy that can really come in and help this team and fill a role that Bud Dupree was unable to do for the most part because of injuries.
Well, it's one practice. We will see what other storylines unfold as we go along. Terry, always appreciate the conversations, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Chase.
Terry McCormick, TitanInsider.com. Give him a follow on Twitter at TerryMC13, as he mentioned, year 27 covering the team. And it's hard to believe that they've been around as long as they have. I guess this is the 25th year of the Titans. But it's time has flown by. That is for sure when it comes to that. I do feel good about the D-Hop and Tannehill connection, and I will tell you why. Coming up next here on the Chase McCabe Show, hey, this week's Nashville best deal is Joyland in East Nashville. Joyland burgers will melt in your mouth. They will, absolutely. The fries are crispy, goodness, and the milkshakes are sure to satisfy any sweet tooth. Get half off a $30 gift card at thegamenashville.com/deals while supplies last.
Football.
Players might end up not going to Alabama or Georgia.
Or the NFL.
I think that this team wins the AFC South.
Trevor knows. Join ESPN's Trevor Maddich every Tuesday at 4:30 on Stillman and Company as he gives his opinions on the latest from the gridiron.
I'm going to the team where I can get a ring.
Trevor Maddich brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, where experience matters, on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Been telling you about PhD weight loss for a while now. MyPhDweightloss.com is the website. It's a program designed by Dr. Ashley Lucas. She's a best-selling author and has put a lot of time and energy into this. And the best part about it is the program is developed for you, for the individual. My program is going to be different than your program because we all have different weight goals and our bodies are all different. Men average about 3.5 pounds, 3 pounds per week. But again, it depends on you and your body. Weekly one-on-one coaching sessions. Coach Rachel has been awesome as she's worked with me and adjusted things as we've gone along, and also been there for moral support, which is very important. They have customized meal plans that are made just for you. And here's the thing, 85% of the food is provided to you at no additional cost, or you can use 100% of your own foods if you choose to, and they will teach you and guide you how to do that. And here is their offer guarantee. If you don't get within 5 pounds of your target weight by the end of your program, PhD will continue to coach you for free until you do. Check that out, myphdweightloss.com. That is the website. Go there, myphdweightloss.com.
Hey, it's Jared. Want to tell you about Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Hiller is keeping you chillin' all summer with special deals to keep you relaxed and happy this summer. Tackle those necessary home system replacements this month to take advantage of these special deals. When you purchase a select new HVAC system, you'll get 2 Yeti Trailhead camping chairs, a Yeti Panga 28L waterproof backpack, a Yeti Tundra 75, and 2 Yeti tumblers for free. And get special freebies on Yeti products with every new whole home generator or tankless water heater purchase. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Jasper's on West End Avenue is your neighborhood bar and restaurant. They offer a fun atmosphere with a game room, TVs, a large bar, lounge area, and patio seating, plus free parking. That's right, free parking on West End. Come into Jasper's today to enjoy their elevated bar fare and well-crafted cocktails. Happy hour Monday through Friday from 4 to 6, and now game night every second and fourth Thursday. Drop in anytime where you can win gift card prizes each week. That's Jasper's on West End Avenue, Nashville's place to gather, play, eat, and drink.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
94.9 The Fan is your home for Hit City.
Tonight, your Nashville Sounds continue their 6-game series at Norfolk. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sounds win. Pre-game at 5:20.
On your home of Nashville Sounds baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
You're listening to Chase McCabe.
He did not want to rehearse, and he wanted to leave as soon as possible.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
With that style of play and the way he specializes in it, does it take a little bit more development of that trust? Does it require more trust?
Yeah, I mean, trust is a big part of playing the quarterback position. Whether it's a guy like D-Hop or anybody else. You have to play with trust in order to make plays, and the more trust you have, ultimately, the more plays you make. So, got to start developing that trust. We've already been talking through a lot of the concepts and how I see things and how we expect the routes to be run. So it's going to be a growing process. We're going to have to put a lot of work in, a lot of time in, but excited to start that process.
Ryan Tannehill talking about DeAndre Hopkins, getting on the same page with him. Chase McCabe Show, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Nick Frazier at the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. I'm pumped about this connection. I asked Terry if he thought they could get to the same level that he and AJ were at. And look, they got to play the games. Before we can say that. Now, week 1, Tannehill could throw for 300-something yards, and D-Hop, has over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, and everybody's going to be going here we go, Titans Super Bowl, D-Hop and Tannehill. One game, I get it. One practice yesterday, I understand. Got to pump the brakes a little bit. But I think this can work. And I think that a lot of that is going to have to do with, something that we've been talking about, that I think both of them, and then you add Derrick Henry into the mix, are going to be a little pissed off for greatness, as Ray Lewis likes to say. Because Tannehill has 1 year left. He's seen the Titans draft quarterbacks the past 2 years. That's okay, trying to get my replacement. Got it. Watch this. And then you give him a stud receiver like D-Hop that, again, DeAndre wants to be here. Vrabel wants players that want to be here. But I think there's probably a little bit of, kind of thought there'd be more of a market for me. Yeah, you can make the argument that Arizona kind of screwed him over and when they cut him, and free agency had already happened, the draft had already happened, so that kind of limited the number of teams that were out there. But he can certainly still have that mentality. That's a dangerous combination. When you got guys that I call it the chip on their shoulder mentality, it's a good thing. It's a good problem to have. And I think Mike Vrabel knows that, and he's going to use that to his advantage. And just, let these guys go out there and do their thing. But I'm excited about watching Tannehill and DeAndre Hopkins work together. This was DeAndre Hopkins the other day when he was introduced and asked about his quarterback, Ryan Tannehill.
Traylon talked to him about you being a guy he watched growing up. How much can you show him, and have you been a teacher player in your career?
What was your visit with Ryan like in that regard when you came in, and how much are you looking forward to working with him?
Ryan came, him and his wife, they came and met me and Rand when we were out. So that said a lot about him right there. Just wanting to come in and talk to me, hang out with me. We kicked it off right away.
That was DeAndre Hopkins on Ryan Tannehill. And I'll say this, and I don't think enough has been made of it. The fact that Tannehill and his wife, went to dinner and they showed up and showed that extra effort. And I don't know if Vrabel or somebody asked him to do that, like, hey, you'll help us out here, or if he did it on his own. Either way, that's a good thing because you're automatically showing this guy, hey, I want to play with you. I want you on my team. I want us to do this thing. And it shows that commitment. And ultimately, I think it helped get him here. And, DeAndre talked about that right there, that, the fact that there's a quarterback that wanted him on the team bad enough that he made the effort to meet him when he was going through the process. That right there develops, camaraderie as teammates, a friendship, however you want to put it. And that is going to be big for the Tennessee Titans. And I love that. And that's why I'm excited about this connection. I'm also excited about having D-Hop there to be around these other receivers. I think that is going to be beneficial as he works with Treylon Burks and everything. Nick, if we could, the D-Hop clip on Burks and working with Burks and the other receivers, this was him the other day talking about that and working with Treylon Burks and those other wideouts.
Traylon talked to him about you being a guy he watched growing up. How much can you show him, and have you been a teacher player in your career?
Oh, of course. I think if you guys go back and see how productive Will Fuller was when he came to Houston, and other receivers as well, Arizona, I think, the same for some of those young receivers who came there. I helped those guys out a lot, make their job easier, obviously. Me being obviously, I think he has a lot of potential, and I think
that was DeAndre Hopkins talking about Treylon Burks and the other receivers, and he has. I mean, and he's learned from guys working with, but I thought the Will Fuller example was an interesting one because Will Fuller was a guy that I thought could have been so much more. He just couldn't stay healthy. But when Will Fuller was on, he was on. And that was a great combination that they had with D-Hop and Will Fuller in Houston. And so the hope is that, Treylon Burks, for this year, Treylon Burks and DeAndre Hopkins can have a similar combination and they both can stay healthy. That's obviously the important part. I mean, I hate that we have to do that. Like always have the preface it by saying, well, if everybody stays healthy. But that's just kind of where we are with the Titans. But you get that going, you get that duo. He mentioned tight ends. I mean, think about how beneficial it's going to be for Chigakonkwo because there's so many expectations for Chigakonkwo this year and for him to take a step forward. I am a Titans fan. I'm excited. I'm excited about all of this. Now, the P word comes into play, potential. There's a lot of potential. Potential has to be, they got to live up to that potential. But I am pumped to see this combination and then add Burks and Chig and then Derek in the backfield, Tajay Spears, and just see what this offense can look like. That's what's added to my excitement as training camp gets underway, Nick.
I'm in the same boat with you. I really do think Treylon Burks is going to have one of those type of breakout seasons. Everybody keeps saying the D-Hop effect, and I'm one person that likes to always emphasize on investing in the youth, because if you don't invest in the youth, then everything can't seem to kind of come full circle. And, when you have guys like Racing McMath who have a lot of upside, Kyle Phillips has a lot of upside, Treylon Burks, this is the year for him to show his upside. When you hear the word upside and potential, that's where you're going to have to just really connect the dots and really have to just put your foot to the gas and prove what you're worth.
I think you have a clip, too, of Treylon Burks talking about DeAndre Hopkins. Let's hear from Treylon Burks.
Being with him the couple of days that he's been here, it's been amazing. Just learning the things, how he take care of his business, and then how he comes out here and practice. Just seeing that, it's just going to do nothing but help me progress and get to that point.
Just having someone like that in the building, does that kind of motivate you to elevate your game even to another
100%.
level?
I would just say it's man nature not to let another man be better than you. So just to go against that every day and try to, beat him. He's going to try to beat me. That's just going to make each other better.
You talked about him.
That was Treylon Burks yesterday. And think about this. The competition within, you got to have that. Competition's everything. I mean, yeah, you want to beat the other team that you're playing, but I love that mentality. Like, heck yeah, I want to be better than him. He wants to be better than me. We're going to push each other. Titans fans should be very excited about that. I'm excited about our next guest, Trey Wingo. Going to join us, of course, on ESPN for a long time. He's covered the NFL for a long time. We'll get his thoughts on DeAndre Hopkins being with the Tennessee Titans. We'll do that next. Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
The FedEx Cup playoffs start in Memphis at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Come out to TPC Southwind August 9th through the 13th and watch the PGA Tour's top players battle to make it through Memphis. Enjoy Memphis at its finest with specialty cocktails, local eats, a vibrant atmosphere, and much more. 2 kids 15 and under admitted free with a ticketed adult. Daily grounds and upgraded tickets are available now at FedExChampionship.com.
20 years ago, when Genesis Diamonds came to Nashville, this was one of the most expensive cities in America for diamond jewelry. Our radical approach and no middleman pricing changed that forever. And now we're doing it again, this time with lab-grown diamonds. We were shocked to find out what the other mall stores and the other big radio advertisers were charging. They sell their platinum 4-carat VS2 lab-grown earrings for $15,720. We sell them for $6,900. Their 3.08 carat lab-grown round diamond with G-Color VS2 clarity is $10,045. We sell it for $5,900. Looks like they might be going back to the old ways. If they're charging this much on lab-grown diamonds, kind of makes you wonder what else they're selling at the same outrageous markup. Nashville, we are not going backwards. At Genesis Diamonds, our non-commissioned trusted advisors are here to give you all the information with details you can trust and prices you can count on. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Nashville's best deal of the week is Joyland in East Nashville. Joyland is a fun new concept by celebrity chef Sean Brock, inspired by his love for cheeseburgers, shakes, buttermilk biscuits, fries, and fried chicken. Get half off a $30 gift card at thegamenashville.com/deals and enjoy the best burger in town. Find some joy today and eat Joyland for half off with Nashville's best deal of the week. That's thegamenashville.com/deals.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormonal deficiencies and imbalances. And Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve your quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit our website at coolspringsmd.com.
The Nashville Sheriff wants to pay you $55,700 a year. Now hiring correctional officers. Positions are available immediately. You must be 21 and over with a high school diploma or a GED. Come, join our family and earn $55,700 after paid training and probation. Apply now at sheriff.nashville.gov/apply or call 615-862-8170. Stop searching. Apply now. The Nashville Sheriff.
Hey, did you tune in late? It's okay. It happens. You can subscribe to the Chase McCabe podcast wherever you get your podcasts. iTunes, Spotify, doesn't matter. Rate, subscribe, and review today.
Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
It is Chase McCabe Show, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on a Thursday. Let's head to the phones. Say hello to Trey Wingo. Haven't gotten to talk to him in a while, but appreciate him joining us. Trey, what's up? How are you?
Good, man. How are you guys?
Doing fantastic. Thanks so much for doing this. So you've been around this league for a long time. You've seen some great wide receivers come through. DeAndre Hopkins, certainly one of them, and now he's a member of the Tennessee Titans. So what were your initial thoughts when you saw that D-Hop was coming to Nashville?
Well, I had sort of two separate thoughts. First of all, I hope he breaks the trend of wide receivers that go to Tennessee to die. Randy Moss, Andre Johnson, Julio Jones, and now DeAndre. So hopefully, for the Titans' sake, he will break that cycle of these wide receivers that have gone there, and it just hasn't worked out, right? It just hasn't worked out for any of them. That was the first thought. The second thought I had was, remember the criteria he put out there, what he wanted for a new team, a quarterback committed to winning, stability in the front office, and a championship defense. Well, I think the quarterback position is really in flux in Tennessee, and it's a first-year general manager. So I'm not sure about those two, but I do think the defense for the Tennessee Titans is very good. So those are my initial thoughts.
Do you think that it says a lot, though, about Mike Vrabel and the trust that DeAndre Hopkins has in Mike Vrabel as the head coach?
I think it says a lot about Mike Vrabel's ability to sell. And, yeah, look, Mike Vrabel is, to me, he's one of the best coaches we have in the league. So, yeah, I mean, Mike is the reason the Titans have had all this, in my opinion, the reason the Titans have had all the success they've had, even though last year was not, what they envisioned. So, yeah, Vrabel obviously was a huge selling point for him dating back to their days together in Houston.
Trey Wingo is with us, and you mentioned Ryan Tannehill in the quarterback position being somewhat in flux here. I mean, he's going to be the starter this year. What happens beyond that, I guess, is up to him. Do you feel like, though, that we've seen his ceiling with this team, or with potentially an improved offensive line, the addition of DeAndre Hopkins, Treylon Burks taking a step forward, that maybe he could get back to that form that we saw in 2019, 2020?
Well, I mean, all those things are great, but at the end of the day, what made Ryan Tannehill better was Derrick Henry, right? I mean, like the threat of the running game. So all those things sound fantastic, but at the end of the day, for Ryan to be as effective as he can be, the running game's going to have to be effective. And if the running game isn't effective, the Ryan Tannehill situation will continue, in my opinion, to sort of be what it is and go down that slippery slope. So all of those things are great. I like Treylon Burks as a player. I loved him coming out of Arkansas. I like the kid a lot. But they're going to have to build on that ability to do the thing that they did when they were so successful in that 2-year stretch, which is intimidate the hell out of people with the running game and make that play action really work for them.
Justin Herbert gets a huge contract, becoming the highest paid quarterback in history, $262.5 million going his way. And I think we all know how this works. We see a guy sign and then immediately go, hey, good for him. All right, better for Joe Burrow, who I believe is going to be next. How do you see that working out with Joe Burrow in his next contract?
Well, before we even go there, let's just talk about one thing here. The best bargain in the NFL is the best player in the NFL, and that's Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes' contract now is a bargain of all bargains, and it's the most team-friendly deal out there, especially for a quarterback. and he seems completely okay with that, which is the most amazing thing. Like, no matter what he gets in his new deal, and he'll get some ridiculous number whenever that happens, and it'll be manipulated for the cap and all that kind of stuff. He has given the Chiefs every opportunity to have this sort of dynastic run by doing the things he's done since he signed that contract, and not taking the most money possible. So the first thing that comes to my mind when any of these quarterbacks get the new highest paid player in football deal is just what a bargain Patrick Mahomes is. As for Joe Burrow, yeah, I mean, Joe's going to have to decide what he wants to do. You know, Joe is a guy who's also said he's all about winning and all that and all those things, and he was a big part of that at LSU, and he's the reason why the Bengals are the team they are. They've won as many playoff games with Joe as they had in their entire franchise history before he got there. So it's a big part of it. And I think Joe can break the bank if he wants, or Joe could try and go the Patrick Mahomes route with what he wants to do. It's going to be up to Joe, but there's not a dollar figure out there that isn't within reach for Joe Burrow if he wants that.
Talking with Trey Wingo and with Justin Herbert, you know, he's kind of he's interesting because there were so many people that, and I was one of them, that I didn't think he was going to be very good coming out of Oregon, and then he turns out to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's earned this deal, but there hasn't been a ton of success with the Chargers, and I don't put that on him. And so how much can that change with the coach and with the rest of the team around him to get him to that point where he can be successful?
Well, look, obviously the franchise in general, you know, the Chargers is where hope goes to die, right? If Tennessee is where veteran receivers go to die, if you're a Chargers fan, you're basically just saying life is pain, and anybody that says anything else is selling you something. The great line from The Princess Bride. So it's a thing that's going on before Herbert got there, but they got to get it fixed. And I will say their coach needs to understand field goals are not terrible. Like, field goals are not poison. They're not the enemy. Every once in a while, it's okay to kick the three and take the points. I think that's something that he's got to get in his head and figure out that that's okay. Listen, if you're the Chargers, though, you look at the last 4 times they've played the Chiefs, and they've all been these just nail-biting games. And if those games turn around, then there's the potential that the Chargers would be winning that division, and you know, all this other stuff would go the other way. So you just have to believe at some point the breaks that always seem to go against you, right? Every year it seems like the Chargers get just destroyed by injuries, and they just cannot find a way to beat Kansas City. And I don't know if they will this year, but you just have to believe that some of those things, the law of averages, would eventually have to play out, right? But we're talking about the Chargers, who one year in 2009 or 2010 had the number one offense in the league statistically and the number one defense in the league and didn't make the playoffs that year, which is almost impossible. But that's sort of the way the things have gone for this organization forever.
Yeah, for sure. So it'll be interesting to see moving forward with Justin Herbert. The most intriguing team in the AFC is the Aaron Rodgers-led Jets. He takes a pay cut, a voluntary pay cut, to try and make room to do more and show his commitment over the course of the next couple of years. Ultimately, Trey, is this going to work, and will Aaron Rodgers bring the Lombardi Trophy to Broadway?
Well, there's a couple things there, right? First of all, and I've seen people that put this out there and said, "Well, man, look at this deal. The Jets are going to play their butts off for him because he gave up that money." That has never happened in the history of the NFL, okay? There's never been a guy in the middle of a locker room who said, "Hey, man, this guy gave up $10 million. Let's play harder for him." That's the dumbest thing anyone can say. Let's just get that out of the way. Nobody cares. Is that money going to them? Then they would care. But no, it doesn't play harder because some guy gave up money. Number two, what an absolute you-know-what to the Packers, right? Aaron Rodgers squeezed every penny he could out of that organization. And fine, if you want to do that, he's earned the right. Back-to-back MVP seasons, he deserved it. Get all that money. But it cost the Packers Devontae Adams, and then it cost them Aaron Rodgers because that contract was unworkable. And then he gets there and becomes this benevolent financial benefactor that just throws money away. Like, that is the biggest whoop to the Packers organization I can imagine walking out the door. So those are some of my initial thoughts there. And the other part of it is that if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, it wasn't worth it. because we're talking about a team that hasn't been to a Super Bowl since they won Super Bowl III. We're playing Super Bowl 58 this year. That's 55 years. This has to be Tom Brady to Tampa. This has to be Peyton Manning to Denver, or it isn't worth it. It isn't worth it. They've been to AFC Championship games with Mark Sanchez back-to-back years. This has to be get us to and win the Super Bowl. Otherwise, they have sort of mortgaged a lot to make this happen. And, Zach Wilson, who knows what happens to him going forward after the Aaron Rodgers experiment comes to an end.
Yeah, and then on the other side of that, Green Bay, I read some things and know some Packers fans, and I can't decide if they're really excited about Jordan Love or if they're just trying to convince themselves that, this is going to work, even though deep down they know that it probably isn't.
Well, they're trying to do something that's never been done before, right? We've had transitions from one quarterback to another that's worked out really well. Steve Young, Joe Montana, right? That's worked out really, really well. Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, even though Andrew got hurt, but that worked out really, really well. So we've seen it happen once. You go from one great quarterback to another quarterback. I've never seen it happen twice, right? So what the Packers are hoping for is Favre to Rodgers, Rodgers to Love will be the same. And that's bucking history. Now, I will say this. I believe that Jordan Love is going to surprise a lot of people. I think he's going to play a lot better than people think, but I don't know if he's going to be Aaron Rodgers good, and I don't know how long that's going to take. But I do think the Packers are going to surprise some people with the way they play this year.
Going to be interesting for sure. Trey Wingo is with us. So what have you been up to these days? I know you've done podcasting and some sports betting stuff.
Yeah.
What has Trey been doing?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I work for the Pro Football Network, 33rd team. Did some work for Caesar Sportsbook, obviously. I just called the Open Championship or the British Open for NBC for 2 rounds Thursday and Friday. I've done some stuff with the PGA Tour. Mark Schlereth and I are launching a new show on a new app called The Stunt, THE space STUNT, which is an all-sports app. Nothing but sports on there. You can create your own shows and everything you want to try and download that in your Apple store or your Google Play, either place. Just keeping busy and can't wait for the season to get here.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's always great to talk to you. Thanks for the time, and we will definitely do it again soon.
You got it, man. Take care.
You too. Trey Wingo joining us here on the show. Always enjoy his insight on all things NFL and sports. We'll react to some of those things. Plus, I heard D-May say something yesterday that got my attention, and I want to bring that up. Coming up next, Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
One is a legendary NFL wide receiver.
I gotta be prepared. I have to be ready.
One is a legendary Nashville voice.
You don't have to rely on carrying the ball 250 to 300 times.
And the other has been a legendary trash talker on the playground since the 4th grade.
Nobody is a Pro Bowler on day 1 of rookie minicamp.
They are Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays at 11 on 102.5 and 106.3, The Game and the Game Nashville app.
We are changing the game. Help your bets stay hot this summer at Superbook Sports. They are the most trusted name in sports betting with a direct line to Las Vegas. Right now, when you use the promo code CHASE, you can score up to $250 with their first bet bonus. Win or lose, Superbook will match your first bet up to $250 simply by using the promo code CHASE. CHASE. That is my name. Download that Superbook Sports app, enter that promo code CHASE, and you'll get $250 courtesy of my friends at Superbook Sports. They have pro football, college football, all of the things. Just use my name, Chase, when you put the promo code in. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
It's Family Leisure's huge summer clearance sale.
So what does that mean?
All summer items have to go. $2,900 pools, only $19.99 installed.
What about the spas?
A $4,000 spa is on sale at $29.99. Save even more on scratch-intensive floor models.
Patio furniture's on sale too?
All Family Leisure summer furniture is 50% off or more. Huge discounts on display models and discontinued items.
Grills and grill islands are also on sale.
All the summer inventory is on sale.
Family Leisure's summer clearance sale. Franklin and Antioch.
The
The spring menu is here at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel, featuring their signature cast iron pie with herb roasted chicken, English peas, carrots, potato, simple greens, and a toasted biscuit crumble topping. Or garden succotash with snap peas, black-eyed peas, roasted peppers, sweet corn, tomato, and caramelized onion. Or try the steak fritas with pan-seared ribeye. Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel, open daily till 2 with brunch Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 7 till 2.
3 days of racing, 3 days of music, one huge weekend event. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix is not just a race or a festival, it's an experience. Multiple music stations with Flo Rida, Vince Neil, Chris Jansen, Gavin DeGraw, and more. Fast cars going over 200 miles an hour. And a family fun zone with inflatables, Ferris wheels, kids games, and kid-friendly food trucks. Tickets and premium hospitality are on sale now. Go to MusicCityGP.com for tickets and get ready to experience Nashville's premier speed and sound event.
Mom, we're out of potato chips.
Teenagers, they'll eat you out of house and home, kind of like health insurance, which can take a big bite out of the family budget. Fortunately, with Farm Bureau Health Plan's Core Choice coverage, we can save $3,600 a year compared to the leading competitor. And we've got better coverage with a lower premium, lower deductible, free telehealth visits, and access to one of the largest networks available.
Can we order pizza?
Visit FBHP.com or your local Farm Bureau office today.
Hey, it's John Tesh. You want to know how to get better rates, better coverage, and better service on your home and auto insurance? Work with Zander Insurance. I know it's a big promise, but this team delivers. They've been around for almost 100 years and have earned the privilege of representing dozens of insurance companies so they can shop, compare, and find you the best options available. More options mean more savings, and in many cases, better coverage. But it doesn't stop there. Each year, they review your coverage to make sure your rates stay competitive. Nobody else does that. And when it comes to service, just check out their ratings. Zander is one of the top agencies in the industry, and they earned that spot with their commitment to making sure their clients are taken care of like family. That's what sets them apart. Go to Zander.com for quick online quotes or call 800-356-1780 for that personal touch that you've been missing.
Hello, whoever it is going to be.
You want to weigh in on anything that we're talking about on today's show? Hit us up on our phone and text line at 615-737-1025, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3, The Game.
Chase McCabe Show, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. Hey, The Game Summer Ticket Tour is headed to Homegrown Tap Room and Kitchen, located at 2720 Old Lebanon Road this Friday afternoon from 2 to 6. Go see Jared. Come eat, drink, hang, and leave with a pair of free sounds, Preds, Big Machine Music City Grand Prix, or concert tickets. We gave a ton away last week. You can also get signed up for the grand prize, Titans tickets, Preds tickets in the 501 Club, and a 2-night stay at Opry Lane Hotel with access to sound waves. Black Tie Moving delivers the Game Summer Ticket Tour. For more details, visit thegamenashville.com/tour. Appreciate Trey Wingo for joining us in the last segment. Always enjoy those conversations with him. And again, if you miss anything on today's show or any of our shows, you can go to thegamenashville.com, our podcast section. You can also subscribe to each show's podcasts. Search for Chase McCabe wherever you get your podcasts. I heard this conversation between Junie Riddle and D. Mace yesterday when it comes to wide receivers and the addition of DeAndre Hopkins. And basically the premise of it was that, Derek was worried about, you bring D-Hop in, what does that do for the younger receivers, taking opportunities away, trying to build what you got. And so that came up, and here was Derek and his comments on DeAndre Hopkins and adding him to the receiver room.
My problem has never been whether D-Hop can catch the football or not.
Yeah.
I've been on record to say, listen, this guy is probably he's the best catcher of the football since Larry Fitzgerald and Chris Carter. There are a lot of guys that can catch the football, but what he's able to do, and some of these younger guys too, Chase and Jefferson and T. Higgins, guys like that, and Devontae Adams. But when you're talking about strictly just a catcher of the football, I don't think there's no better one than Hop. But I would have loved to see these younger guys, get an opportunity to step up into a role that is meant for them, whatever role that is.
Yeah.
Now, they're still going to get their opportunities, but it's not going to be as many because once we get to the first 2 weeks of camp, now we're starting to concentrate on our guys, the guys that we know are going to be on this team. So we're going to continue to work with them more and more and more. And, these young guys got to show early on that they're keeping up with the train. Because if you ain't keeping up with the train, you're going to get left behind. So I think that way because I was in that situation. So I'm a little bit more sensitive than everybody else.
Yeah.
Because I've been that third, fourth, fifth receiver and working my way up and then bringing in veteran guys and not truly giving me an opportunity to go out there and play. Because sometimes, more times than not, it's opportunities that guys get or don't get that allows them to play in this league for, periods of time or for, whatever time, say 5-6 years. It's the opportunities that you get at whatever position. And if you make do on that opportunity, then you're going to last in this league.
That was Derek Mason yesterday with Junie Riddle. The band is back together today. Caroline, Willie, and D. Mace coming up in just a few minutes. And I understand what Derek's saying. Like, because I've said it before that they would bring in guys like Carl Pickens and, they had signed Yancey Thigpen and I feel like there was another one too. And Derek was basically relegated to special teams. And then when he got his opportunity, really got his opportunity when Kevin Dyson got hurt, everybody goes, oh, okay, we got our guy. And then it became the D-May show. But Derek showed you a lot on special teams. And I remember, when he would get opportunities seeing it, that it's like, okay, I feel like this guy can, be a productive receiver, when he gets his chance. There's nobody behind Burks and DeAndre Hopkins that I see on this Titans team that gives me that same feeling right now. That can change, but, before they got Hopkins, we were sitting here having the conversation of it's Treylon Burks, and you hope that Kyle Phillips can, show us, some of the flashes that he had last year, can build on that and actually be something decent. And then everybody else, it's like, I don't know. So that's where I think the difference is. And again, I understand what he's saying, that you want to make sure you want to get the most out of everybody. But I think having Hopkins in here is actually going to help that. So like I said, Derek he's one of the best. He's the best receiver the Titans have ever had. A.J. Brown, probably would have taken that title from him had he stuck around. But, D-Mace, the impact he made for this team goes without saying. But I think that these young guys are still going to get their opportunity, and adding DeAndre Hopkins is only going to help that. So enjoyed that conversation yesterday, and Junie did a great job filling in as well on the midday show. Before we get out of here, I have to play this because I was laughing my you-know-what off when I saw it. As Joey Votto, first baseman for the Cincinnati Reds, who is Mr. Personality, went on with Chris Mad Dog Russo and did an interview with him and absolutely gave it to him because of comments that Russo had made a few months ago, basically saying that Votto was in the Hall of Very Good. Check this out. This was hilarious.
A couple of months ago, you said that Zach Greinke and I are a Hall of Very Good ball players. I think Zach and I would agree. You may be right. But I get the gist of what's going on here. I know what you're doing. You're looking down on us, a couple small market Midwest ball players, just because we're not big city, just like you. Mr. New York City, Sirius XM radio star, Mr. National Television, ESPN star, with your Fifth Avenue ties and your crisp pocket squares, your tailored suits and your polished shoes, and your hair, your perfectly coiffed Broadway hair. Must be nice to sit atop that Madison Avenue ivory tower, looking down on us with those luscious locks. Not everyone can be the next Roger Peckinpah, Mad Dog. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're a disgrace.
That was Joey Votto with Mad Dog Russo, and oh my goodness, it's gone viral, and it should, and I love it. He's like, we might agree with you. I think Grinke and Votto have a case for sure for Cooperstown, but that was fantastic. It made me laugh, and I hope it did the same for you. That is going to do it for us today. Have a great rest of your Thursday, but don't go anywhere. Caroline's back. Willie's back. The crew is together. They are up next, talking Titans in training camp. Here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity?